Our presentation will discuss how to emerge as a leader among your peers. As we prepare to enter the workplace, leadership is an extremely desired quality by employers. By demonstrating leadership qualities among our peers, individuals are able to market themselves to employers while excelling in the workplace. Communicating at work offers useful insight into the importance of leadership. A case study by Carl Larson and Frank LaFasto interviewed 75 winning teams, such as the team that developed the IBM personal computer, and from their observations identified 8 characteristics that led to their successes. One of these characteristics was principled leadership. Principled leadership is defined as leaders who can create a vision of the team's purpose and challenge members to get the job done, along with an ability to unleash the team members' talents. Because of this, success and failures of businesses are either blamed or attributed to leadership. For example, if a business deal doesn't go through, the responsibility is usually blamed on the CEO. As an intern, the easiest way to gain recognition is by leading a team to success. The best way to produce quality results is to transform a group of 5 or 7 individuals into a team. The characteristic that differentiates a group from the team is that a team works together to yield a collective product, while groups are primarily concerned with their own goals and individual results. A team leader helps shape the work of the team, yielding more successful end results.
Another important aspect of a successful team is trust. Snyder and Thomas focus on the structure of interpersonal trust within a workplace. They focus on 5 main components of trust, which include competence, which is the knowledge and skills to do the job; consistency, which means you are reliable and you are predictable; integrity, which means you're honest and truthful; loyalty, which means you have the ability to save face or protect other members of your team; and openness, which is the ability to be able to express yourself. Trust between individuals and groups within an organization is a highly important element in the long-term stability of the organization as well as the well-being of its members. Within this research project performed by Schneider and Thomas, they examined the relationships between supervisors and their subordinates within the workplace. They observed that when employees trust each other, their effectiveness and job satisfaction are increased tremendously. In opposition of their findings, they also stated that a large amount of time and energy can be spent on employees trying to protect themselves or undermine each other when they do not feel comfortable with each other. Therefore, this will make it hard for the organization to function as a whole. It is very important for an organization to be able to function as a group because you need to be able to work together as a team.
In order for an entire team to function correctly, leaders are needed. Leaders are not always appointed formally. Emergent leaders can both be given a title or never officially recognized. Ernest Borman created the method of residues, in which he researched the process that leaders were chosen. He found that the method took a process of elimination approach. This video clip from Grey's Anatomy demonstrates that process at work. For those of you not familiar with the show, it takes place in a hospital following surgical residents. The residents are arguing with each other, so the attendings assign them all to one patient, the Gunther. The hope is that they'll be forced to work together, and by the end, someone emerges as a leader. The first surgeon, who seemed to be the leader, was overconfident in her abilities. When another resident attempted to step in, also vying for the leadership position, she wasn't paying attention and stuck him with a needle, demonstrating her incompetence and leading to the elimination of both of them from obtaining the role of leader. This left room for a third person to emerge as a leader by process of elimination and providing a solution in time of crisis. The second slide will talk about lieutenants. This also demonstrates lieutenant because the other surgeon left is following his lead, ensuring his leadership role.
Racehorse? My bad. What the hell just happened? Epi, give me another Epi. Here you go, Doc. I can't find a pulse. Why the hell doesn't he have a pulse? I need a crash cart. An Epi doesn't stop a healthy person's heart. What did you do? I don't know. Are you back? I'm going to do the pericardium. Forget about the pelvis for now. Lean to the packing in the right upper quadrant. Should I repack it? Try a triangle maneuver. Grab it, please.
The first surgeon, who seemed to be the leader, was overconfident in her abilities. When another resident attempted to step in, also vying for the leadership position, she wasn't paying attention and stuck him with a needle, demonstrating her incompetence and leading to the elimination of both of them from obtaining the role of leader. This left room for a third person to emerge as a leader by process of elimination, providing a solution in time of crisis. The second slide will talk about lieutenants. This also demonstrates lieutenant because the the other surgeon left is following his lead, ensuring his leadership role. When it comes to positions of authority, not all leaders are given a title. When working among peers, leaders can be chosen by a formal method, such as voting for a captain, or they can emerge as the group begins to collaborate on a project. Communicating at work gives an overview of Borman's process of elimination, which describes the method of how informal leaders are chosen. Borman states that the quickest way for an individual to remove themselves from the running for a leadership position is by not communicating. This shows indifference and lack of commitment. The second way is by exhibiting dogmatism, which is defined by communicating at work as expressing your opinion in strong or unqualified terms. These individuals are perceived as too inflexible and too extreme to succeed in a leadership position. Next is by demonstrating incompetence. If an individual does not seem to possess the mental capabilities to help the team succeed, the team will not look towards them as a leadership figure. The fourth step of elimination is pre-existing bias. This can either be based off of gender or ethnicity, or if the person's leadership style does not fit the situation. An example of this is being too serious or too laid back. This process will eliminate about half the group. Of the remaining candidates, one way to distinguish yourself as a leader is by having what our textbook calls a lieutenant. A lieutenant is someone who supports your advancement for leadership. Having this lieutenant demonstrates your authority and can help influence others to follow their lead, supporting your overall leadership role. Some tips and tricks for presenting yourself are to speak early and often. This does not guarantee leadership, but it does ensure you will not be eliminated right off the bat. Demonstrate competence. Offering useful information helps others see the benefits to working with you. Do not attempt to overpower other group members. This will create a hostile environment and could lead to others distancing themselves from you. The easiest way to demonstrate leadership abilities is to provide a solution in time of crisis. This way, other members look to you for guidance, assuring your authoritative position. This chart shows 10 steps for leadership excellence. In order to be a good leader, you need to be able to do all 10 of these things. You need to have a plan and vision in place before you are appointed as leader, so that way you have a clear idea of what you plan to do, and you can communicate your plan to the rest of the team. Innovation and change are a big part of leadership, and you need to know how to make changes and what changes are most important to make. Remember, you do not want to make too many changes at one time. You need to be courageous and willing to take risks as a leader. You are in charge, and if you aren't willing to take risks to potentially better you and your team and lead them to success, then the rest of your team will be scared to step outside and to take risks too. Communication, just like any other time in life, is important. As a team leader, you need to know how to effectively communicate with your team and those outside of it in order to be successful. As the leader, you set the tone for the rest of the group. So be sure that you are not acting like someone you would not want as leader. When you are a leader, you help the rest of the team out by giving them feedback and coaching them on things they need to make improvements on. By doing this, your team will grow and strengthen and likely excel. Self-management as a leader is crucial because you are the leader. You make and approve most of the decisions and deadline for the group. And if you are not self-motivated and you do not have good time management skills, then the rest of the group will fail and you will not excel like you want to. This also means leadership might not be for you. Coaching and development, like I said before, you have to coach your team and help them through their weak spots. And in the process, you and the rest of your team will develop and as a leader, you will be making a lot of decisions, even the little ones, like when and where to meet, as a group, to the big ones, like who will take on what role, and who needs to work more in a specific area, or who needs to be told they need to step up and do their part. This goes right along with relationships and power. Yes, you're a leader, so you do have a lot of power, but you are part of a team, and as a team, you are all equal to one another, so make sure you have good relationship with those in your group, but also make sure there's no one person who receives more attention than others. It is important for your group to know who is in charge, but you have to maintain a good balance between peers. This will help you earn the trust and respect you need from the group to be effective as a leader. Being a leader begins with understanding what it takes to be one. Being a leader is not for everyone, so if you think you want to take on the leadership role, then you need to be well informed about what it all comes with it. In doing so, you might decide if it's right for you or not. Once you understand what all actually goes into being a leader, then you need to practice. Practicing for a leadership role is vital because even though you've done your research and you know what you need to do, actually doing it is the part. The practicing stats is where you're most likely to find out if you think being a leader is something you're really interested in or if it's too much pressure for you. Find Finally, if you decided that being a leader is right for you, then the last step is to complete the role as leader. Whether this is during a business meeting, a family outing, or planning a birthday party for someone, whatever it may be, take your chance and step up to lead. When it comes to leadership, specifically among your peers, John Maxwell is able to offer beneficial insight on the topic. He is a pastor, author, and speaker who has written 71 books with a primary focus on leadership. He travels and speaks to Fortune 500 companies, talks to places like West Point, and consults with international government leaders over this topic. He came up with 7 ways to successfully lead among your peers so that once you land the leadership role, you are able to convince your peers that they have chose the right person to lead their group. The first way is to understand, practice, and complete the leadership loop. To do this, do not take any shortcuts or attempt to cheat the system. The loop starts with caring and taking an interest in people. People want to belong to a winning team, and as Maxwell says, success breeds success. The second tip is to put completing fellow leaders ahead of competing with them. Use the healthy competition to work towards a corporate win. The whole team is more than the individual, so build them up and motivate them to work towards an overall goal, the success of the team. The third tip when leading your peers is to be a friend. This is not to be confused with finding a friend. It is important to maintain a professional relationship and not to use your influence to find friends. Leading is not about being in control of a group, but also being there when a teammate needs your help. Working towards being a friend will lead to an individual having influence over their peers when needed. Number 4 is to avoid office politics. Once an individual is labeled as a politician, they are branded with their desire to get ahead, instead of aiming towards excellence, productivity, teamwork, and consistency. If you act a certain way around certain people, you will lose your credibility, and it won't work among your peers. A better approach is to be democratic and think of the big picture while staying true to yourself. Expand your circle of acquaintances. They are crucial for future connections and add to your personal worth and influence. Number 6 is to let the best idea win. It is not about getting your way or winning us. It's about respecting your peers so that the whole team wins. It is important to recognize when you can contribute something, but also when you can recognize that your idea isn't the best. This helps to gain respect among your peers. Lastly, do not pretend that you are perfect. Nobody is perfect, and we all know this. People who are honest about their strengths and weaknesses are more appealing as leaders, so admit your faults, ask for advice when needed, and don't worry about what other people think. Being open will lead to an overall greater success, team move in the right direction. Once you land the leadership role, you need to make sure your peers believe that they have chosen the right person to lead their group. The last thing you want is for them to have second thoughts about your leadership. It is understandable to have anxiety about leading your peers, but as a leader, you need to set those feelings aside. As a leader, there is no room to feel uncertain about your own ability to lead. It is common that you will have some people unsure about how they feel towards your leadership. But as a leader, it's important to show your courage and lead your team to success rather than worrying about how few people feel towards you. Prove to them that you are the right person, and chances are they will see it your way. As a leader, you need to make sure that your team knows exactly what they are going to do and how to do it. So you need to have a plan and discuss it with your team in full. Make your expectations very clear and easy to understand. Look for weaknesses. It is important when you are leading that you are very aware what is working and what's not. If you realize something is not working and needs to be changed, then you need to address it and make the necessary changes. It may not go over well with the whole team at first, but stick to your guns and make the changes if necessary. However, be aware that making too much change at one time can be disastrous and overwhelming. So make the most crucial changes first and go from there. Being as fair as possible at all times is crucial. Knowing that it can be difficult when leading your peers because there might be some that you know and work better with than others, but you need to make an effort to see so that your whole team has your attention and your care. Making sure that there's always discipline and order among your team can be very awkward. However, without it, things can get messy. As a leader, you need to have maturity and understanding that you need to be honest with people. Make sure that it is constructive criticism and let them know that what you're doing is not to hurt them or make them feel bad, but to help them out. And your team. Always make sure you are treating everyone with the same amount of maturity and disciplining them all the same so it does not appear as if you are choosing favorites.
As research by Warren Bennett states, in order for a leader to satisfy those who are following them, they must provide 4 essential things. First, they must provide a sense of purpose. This will help create goals and objectives within the group. Secondly, they must establish genuine relationships with those within the group in order to gain reliability and consistency from those members. Next, Leaders need to be confident about the success of the group. This will help others to feel energized and excited to commit to getting things done. And finally, a leader should attempt to be biased in regards to the action, the risk, the curiosity, and the encouragement of the members. This will help to create confidence and creativity.
A
A
few
few
mistakes that
mistakes
are
that are
made
made
when
when
becoming
becoming
leader.
leader.
The
The
first
first
is
is
that you
that you
begin to
begin to
act
act
differently.
differently.
It is
It
a
is a
big
big
accomplishment to
accomplishment
be
to
in
be in
charge
charge
and a
and a
big
big
responsibility.
responsibility.
Many
Many
people
people
get
get
appointed
appointed
leader
leader
and
and
begin
begin
seeing
seeing
themselves as
themselves as
something
something
other
other
than
than
a
a
peer.
peer. If you start acting more in charge and an overseer rather than part of the team, your teammates and peers will begin to question your ability to lead well, and will resent you, which could make things harder for you because the rest of the team may not want to collaborate with you. Rather just come to you for approval when they have done the work. As a newly appointed leader, your team is trying to put their best forward with you, so you may not see their faults and weaknesses. This is a big problem when it comes to leading a group. First, you must be a peer first and see where the strengths and weaknesses lie in your team. From there, you can determine what course of action to take and who would be the best at performing certain tasks within the team. When you're an appointed leader, it is important to have a plan of action in place. If you do not have a plan ready, then you are not ready to take charge of the team. Having a plan will help you maintain focus, gain trust from the rest of them, and help establish a vision for the future.
Our presentation covered everything from emerging as a leader, why we need leaders, how to excel in the leadership role, and common mistakes you may make. Leaders are important because not only do they help ensure the success of the group, but personally, if you're recognized by your boss as a leader among your peers, it opens up so many more opportunities for you in the workplace. So as we all leave and graduate, get internships, maybe we're currently in the workplace, try to use these tips and hopefully it'll help you succeed.